Hi guys, Brand here with another commentary video. It's gonna be, I guess, sort of a rant video, although I'm not feeling like angry, I guess. I have been angry about it in the past, but I'm not gonna be angry about it, but I am just gonna be kind of going on a tangent, talking about something in the Dead by Daylight community that really frustrates me, and it kind of always has. And it's been in a couple of the React videos as of like late. But like, I know, like, you know, as a YouTube channel, especially one that uploads like daily, like, some of you only watch the match reviews, some of you only watch the commentary videos, because that's like what kind of my bread and butter was forever. Some people only watch the reacts, so I'm kind of just like a window for you to look into the Dead by Daylight community and certain like content, you know, circulation. I understand. So some of you watch some things, some of you watch others. That's okay. So this is something that I feel like was important enough that I want to have it like in its own video and not just kind of like off in a react somewhere. For those of you that only watch these or something else, or some of the fact it made sense in my head. Like I said, it's a rant video, so it's gonna be a little bit more rambly, so my apologies. First off, anyways, trying to get to the fact of the matter here is the DBD community has like such an immense problem with like misinformation. And maybe it's just my, you know, I was an educator. I was a high school teacher for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. I was a teacher for a while. So maybe like I'm a little hypersensitive. I'm somebody who is more inclined to be frustrated at the idea of like people spreading misinformation than the average person. But I've just noticed just over the course of the time that I played DBD that the community has like an incredibly awful problem when it comes to spreading misinformation. I don't know if where it likely comes from. I don't know if it's just streamers or it's just people. Like, I don't know really what it comes from. That's the only thing I can assume is like streamers are just wrong, and then they say something wrong, and then a bunch of people just like parrot what they say afterwards, and all that's wrong. But like, it seems like the DBD community has an incredibly huge problem with misinformation. I think one of the things that brought this up lately is we were talking about on stream recently how we were talking about how Deadlock is bugged. Deadlock is bugged where when Deadlock wraps a gen, it's not supposed to be able to be affected by perks after the fact. Like, once the gen is locked, the gen's locked. It's essentially off the field of play. It can't be positively interacted with by the survivors. It can't be negatively interacted with by a killer perk. But right now, you can pain res the gen through Deadlock, which is not something you're supposed to be able to do. It's not supposed to be possible, but it does happen, which obviously opens up another powerful perk combination, which pain res is already the strongest slowdown perk in the game. So opening up another strong double slowdown combo obviously is kind of a, especially if it's just a bug and it's not supposed to be working that way anyway. It's kind of icky. But I remember for a while telling people that like, hey, it doesn't do that. It's not supposed to do that. That's not a thing. And that when a Deadlock wraps a gen, it's off the field of play. It's off the field of play now. And that the devs, that's their intention. That's what they want. They want it to be like, okay, well, like the gen's wrapped, the gen's just not interactable anymore, positively or negatively. And I've always told people that, and people are like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And now we have a bug, and it has been labeled a bug that is going to be fixed, where it's like, hey, we have this gen perk, Deadlock, wrapping a gen, and now pain res is hitting through it, and that's a bug. We need to fix that. It's just like, you were just wrong this whole time. But like, I can't believe how many people like fought like tooth and nail. And I mean tooth and nail, like they scrapped and clawed at me, arguing with me. Like, no, it's always been that way. I've always been able to pain res gens through Deadlock. And it's like, no, you haven't. You're a liar. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I know that's like I'm not trying to be mean, but like literally, like what does that make you other than a liar? Like, are you, where does this come from? Why do people just make stuff up? Like is it, like I said, this is my question. And this is kind of like the point of the video is I'm trying to like levy, where do you think this comes from? Like, do you think it's like did a streamer say something wrong? Like a big streamer say something wrong, and now there's just a bunch of little idiots running around like, meh, and saying something that's just like factually not true because one streamer idiot said something wrong? Or like, where does that come from? Where do like, because clearly it's not a thing, right? Clearly it's not a thing because it's a bug. Clearly it's not supposed to be happening. It's been confirmed. So like, why would these people make up in their heads that they've been able to do it this whole time? Like, what do they gain from that? Where did that come from? Like, and it's not even just this specific example. It's just like with everything in Dead by Daylight. With everything, people just have like wrong opinions about everything. It's not even an opinion. These are just facts. They just say falsehoods. They just say things that are just backwards and wrong and not factual about the game all the time. And I don't know why this community has such an immense problem with just saying stuff that's just not true about the game. When I don't know something, when I'm not sure of something, I say, I'm not sure, or I would have to test that, right? If I'm not certain, I'm not certain. I can give you a guess. I can give you an inference. I can say, well, based on how a similar perk works, or based on how this interaction works, I could assume that it probably works like this, but I would have to test. That's a responsible way to react to somebody asks you a question. You don't want to leave them with nothing, but you want to answer anyway, right? I could assume it works like that, but that's just my best guess. I'd have to check or ask somebody more reputable than me. That's how you responsibly handle that situation if you don't know something. The fact that people just say stuff, I don't get it. I don't understand. For example, like I've said multiple times at this point, I'm a top 5 xenomorph in the world. Woo! So I've been really grinding that character and really getting good at that character. I was in a stream the other day, one of my friend's streams, and he was playing Xenomorph, and people were asking him questions, and he was like, no, ask Bran, because I don't know, but like, he's here, and he's he's got the record to prove that he's good at the character, so ask him. And then I answered the questions. The streamer, my streamer friend, did not just go, oh, well, I think it's this, because I think I know better, and this is how it is. So like, he didn't know. So he didn't like go, well, I'm pretty sure it just works like that, which is what like most of the DBD community does. No, he decided to turn it over to somebody who he knew was more knowledgeable in the subject matter, and people got the answers they wanted. That is the responsible thing to do. I feel like so many people in the DBD community just make an assumption, assume their assumption is true, and then just spread it as law. And the problem with that, and like why it grinds my gears, it's not just like an irritation thing, it's not just like a pet peeve thing, it's like when you spread misinformation like that, you are creating a community of misinformed players who ergo get more frustrated because they make decisions based off these lies, essentially what they are, whether it's malicious or not, they're lies. You told a lie, so people make decisions based off these lies, which negatively impact their gameplay experience and frustrate and anger them. So it leads to a lot of negative energy and strife in the DBD community because you didn't want to admit that you didn't know what the heck you were talking about. You didn't want to admit that you were just wrong or just didn't know. So instead of just swallowing your pride and going, I don't know, you decided to make it everybody else's problem. The problem should have stayed, I didn't research this enough, so I didn't know. But now you're making it everybody else's problem. Now you're making it a whole community's problem because you're just going to go spread misinformation because you're too much of a little baby to admit when you're wrong. And that stuff agitates me. That stuff frustrates me, man. I can't deal with that. It makes me so mad. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what, because like I've played, like I've mentioned before, I've gotten way into Dota, I've gotten way into FPSs. Obviously the most competitive experience I've ever had is like with fighting games. I have never had a community of gamers that I have been in that have been so rampant and unapologetic about spreading misinformation. I have never, ever had a community that is so just willing to just make stuff up about the game, lie about the game. I don't get it. So honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I would love to hear your thoughts on this because like, I really don't know where it comes from. Like this isn't like a hee I'm farming interaction. When people say usually like comment down in the comments below, they're just farming interaction. That's why, because the more comments you get, the more your video gets recommended. But I'm actually seriously confused. Like I actually have no idea where this comes from. No clue where it comes from. Don't know why people do this, but it agitates the heck out of me, and I hate it. So yeah, where does this come from? What do you think? Let me know, because I certainly don't have any answers. But other than that, I will see you tomorrow because I do upload daily. But if I don't see you there, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.